Okay, what up YouTube? Putting together this PC today. Alright, we have a case. This is a Vivo case. It has the card reader, 2 USB 3s, and 2 USB 2s. And let's see. We have the Senti. That seems like that's only on Amazon. Most of this stuff I got from Amazon, except for the motherboard and the processor. It's the motherboard I'm using. That's the processor I'm using. It really wasn't those prices, but Micro Center is where I got the motherboard and processor. Got the Windows. So we got the case, power supply unit, 850 big boy. That's the one you want to get if you want to update in the future with the graphics. Graphics require like 850 watts. And then we got a processor with graphics, so we don't need a graphics card for this install. And a motherboard and Windows. This is Windows 7, upgradable to Windows 10 for free. And 2 4GB DIMMs for 8GB RAM, and then a DVD drive. So that is everything. Only thing I didn't put on here that's not sitting here that I'm gonna install is a hard drive. So all of this in a hard drive. So ain't nothing but like 8 components. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a hard drive would be 8. Now those are the side panels. That's for the case. I'll come back and start installing. All you need, by the way, is just that Phillip head screwdriver for the whole thing. Alright, let's have at it. First thing you want to do, after you got all the side panels off on your case, sit it down on this side with the motherboard. This is where the motherboard is going to sit, right in this area, on top of these brass fittings here. Those are called standoffs. First thing we're going to do is put in the power supply unit, the PSU. Put that'll be at the top. I want to do it with the fan facing downward. It fits in that groove. I don't know if you can see it, but that fits on top of that. That's what holds it until you screw it in on this side. And number 4 screws. I'll line up the holes, screw them in. So let's do that. By the way, this whole install is less than $500. I mean, with everything. So then the monitor I'm gonna be using is a TV. So all I need is the HDMI connection, which will be on the motherboard and connected to a TV. But this is less than $500 install. These were the accessories included with the Vivo case. My Vivo didn't come with any instructions for the case, but these go on your PSU. On the outside, the 4 screws. Let's see if I can get a focus. It's like these screws got like a little. Okay, we get a focus. Okay, my Vivo didn't come with instructions, but this is what goes on your power supply, this screw. It's kind of like a hex. Got a whole bunch of like different corners on it. So how many points? 2, 4, it's a 6-point. So that's the one you want to have going in the back here to hold your PSU to the case. Alright, once you have your PSU, your power supply unit, in place, it will look like that on the top. You got the 6-point screws, 4 of them. And there you go, getting there, getting close. These are the supplies that's inside the motherboard once you open it up. Plate. And underneath the motherboard, wrapped in plastic. Of course, make sure you have no static electricity while you're doing this stuff. You want to do it on like wood surfaces. Something of that nature. Something that doesn't make static electricity. What I'm going to do now, power's up, make sure the wires are out the way. What I'm going to do now is test fit the motherboard on the standoffs to make sure it actually match up to how it screws on to the case. So I'll do that. First I'll put on this plate and then I'll test fit it. You know what, actually I'll test fit it and then I'll put on the plate when I know it's in the right spot. So let me grab my motherboard and test fit where the holes line up with the standoffs to see if I got to move any standoffs. Right. Just test fitted my motherboard here without the backing plate yet. Still got the plate right there. But it do line up with the brass fittings for that hole. That hole, you can even see the brass through the hole. That one and that one. So as long as you have 4 holes lining up, you good. Put in 4 screws that'll hold your motherboard down. Like what I say, this is a test fit, so I'm gonna take this back out, and then I'm gonna put my back plate on, and then I'm gonna put this in and screw it on. Alright, I test fitted it. Everything is right. Got the 4 screws in place, the 4 standoffs. It's already in place. You don't even got to switch it around with this case. So just screw it in on those 4. But like what I say, this is a test fit just to make sure it lines up, because I didn't put in the back plate. That's the plate that goes right there to make it look clean. See, right now I just got a test fit it sitting in there, make sure everything line up. Now I'm about to pull this back out. Since I know it lines up, pull it back out, then add that, then put it back in and line back up the brass fittings, the standoffs, and screw those 4 in. Extra info when you're working on this stuff, like I just pulled it back out, you want to sit it back on the box. Even the instructions say, you know, if it's not, pretty much if it's not in the case on the standoffs, it's sitting on top of the box. So here we go. Okay, I got this out of this plastic. Now the way this goes in there, you do not mess with any of those tabs. I learned that the hard way, because I was like, how you get... Anyway, those tabs supposed to be like that on a bit. The way it locks into place is these, like, I don't know if you see these dots going along the side of it. That's what actually locks it into place. You just push it right into the case, and those like dots that's coming off the edge there, it locks it into place. Now you want to know what side it's going to be on. Like this, when it's sit up in the case, this motherboard is going to sit like this in the case, and that's going to come out the computer case. So line that up. This will be this away, you know. So that's how I'm supposed to put it in. Just like that, with the wording that you can read and everything facing the outside of the case. And it'll line up to this. You see? So take it just like that. Put it straight down in here. See if I can get a good shot if I can. Well, I ain't got the best light right now, but it goes in here. But that whole barrier around it, it gets in there, and you gotta push it in. get it at the right spot, get it lined up though. Right there. This requires both hands. But anyway, I'll push that until lock into place. Let me see if I can set this camera at an okay spot. That, if I just push it in there, put that over, that in, just like that. Start popping in there. Gotta use both hands. Get them in there. And now on the edges. You heard that snap? That was it. And just, I still gotta pop in a little bit on this corner. On this, I'm kind of holding the black that's right here while pushing from behind around the edge. And that kind of popped it into place for me. So that is it. Then it won't move once you got it in there. It'll be alright. So that's the way it pops in there, give you a better angle of it. It just go right around all that. Just push it straight in there. Gotta use two hands at it. That's how it looks on the inside part, if you can see that, if it's enough light at all. You know you got it on there though. Once it's lined up around the border, and you know it don't pop out once you hit on it, you know. There you go. I'm about to put the motherboard in there. Motherboard in there, lining it up with the back plate so I can push it in there. The way this thing is kind of made, these backing plates, they give you a little resistance, so you can so it can hold in there firmly, because it's kind of like a spring the way it got all the little tabs that's pushed towards the motherboard. Let me bring this up to you and show you the screws to use for this. Like what I said, mine didn't come with a manual. I'm sure yours probably don't do as well, but for this, you have to use the ones that's like all around, as far as it's no, let's see if I can get it. But yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is the one you want to use. The one that don't look like you got a washer built into it. The one that's just a straight up screw. Like this, the one that kind of got a washer into it. These the ones you use for like the hard drive. the screw in the hard drive. Kind of got like a built-in washer along the edge of it. You can see the little groove. That's the one you use for the hard drive. These are the ones you use for the standoffs. The regular round with no special nothing added to it. Okay, so let's get these 4 screws in here. Let's see, gotta apply a little pressure on it. Push it towards the case backing plate so you can get the hole lined up. And it's always good to use a magnetic tip screw Phillips head screwdriver. It's that magnetic tip. It's just kind of like a lifesaver. It just goes right in there and hold that screw for you. Uh-oh. To use a different one. Correction. Just test fitted these screws here. This particular case, you would need the ones that look like a washer to hold down the motherboard. So these that like you got a washer attached to it automatically, just the way it's made, them the ones you have to use to tie down the motherboard on the standoffs. Alright. So then these other ones gotta be for the hard drive. Alright. Here we go. Alright, I got one of them, man. Still got 3 more to get in. Alright, let's get this pushed over. Yeah, that's lining up. Oh yeah. Now we getting somewhere. That is it too. That is it. You put in them 4 screws that look like they got washers attached to them. Screw those on the brass standoffs. that'll be that. Alright. So I officially have that together. So I look back there, then in here, those 4 screws in place. Now I'm about to put on the processor. Right. These are the contents once you open up the box for your processor. Okay, this is the one with all the pins they always talk about. And the way you put this on, it's a corner that has an arrow. Let's see which corner is it. Have to pop it open. Alright, got it open. So I got all these pins. And then the one with the arrow, which is right here. That arrow that's on the corner. That one you line up with the arrow on your motherboard. Your motherboard has an arrow that's on one of these corners. Okay, I took the liberty of putting on a couple extra cables. My light feel like it is just no more. Anyway, this is how you put on that. You gotta take up this piece so you can put the socket in there for the processor. So you have it up like this. Then you'll be able to stick the processor in. But I'll just put on a couple, put the fans on. Alright, so we wrap the processor. It's a delicate process, so let me try to get myself together here. Because it got these pins that you ain't supposed to bend. That's supposed to be super easy to bend. I've heard of people getting them with bent pins, but AMD never did that to me yet. They always came with the pins right. Let's say that gold arrow. Yeah, on both sides. So you make sure for sure that the gold arrow matches up with the arrow that's on here. Arrows will be on that corner for this. So the arrow will be over there. Like I say, you get that handle up, you stick it up on here, kind of drop it in easy, let it fall into place. It'll fall where it need to go. Bam, just like that. Kind of just dropped in there and it's flat. Gotta make sure it's flat on the bottom. That's how you know it's connected. So you got the arrow where it's supposed to be, the gold arrow matching. You got it on there, it's nice and flat. And actually what the instructions say, you kind of hold down on it a little bit, just a little bit of pressure, and then you fold that lever back down. Just like that. So the lever is back down, locked into place. So that is how you install the processor. Then you put the fan that comes with it on the top. So that is it. Nice, flat, flush, and locked into place. Alright. Heatsink that comes with it with a fan. It already got the paste on the bottom. That kind of layer, you kind of see it shine a little bit. That's the pre-applied paste from the factory. So you don't need paste on it. It's already on. Put it on and lock it down. I'm gonna lock it down from this way since the wire is that away. Actually, I'll come in from this side. Alright, so got it somewhat sitting in place now. Make sure the wire can reach, because I got it way on the other side. Yeah, the wire will be able to come around and reach. So now you're locking it to place. You hook it around the tabs that's on both ends. I should tell you, this blue latch, you put it all the way to the left. Flip it all the way over there to unlock completely. So you can get these tabs into place. And then after that, you can fold this latch up to the right, and then it's locking into place coming this way. Let's put pressure on it. So, and that'll tighten it right down. So that's that. So that's how you do that. But yeah, if you ever remove this for whatever reason and put in another processor or move anytime you separate it from the thermal paste, you got to put on new paste. So you got to clean it up and put on new paste to reapply the heat sink if you ever remove it, because it's only good for one time use from the factory. So you plug this in the CPU. CPU fan is over here. It's next to the system fan too. But anyway, it plugs in over there. So you plug in your fan, CPU fan, and the CPU. Alright, as you can see, I started connecting a few of the wiring. Got my fans connected. And the lighting for the fans, they connect through the PSU. And they are two-way. So one end you see that, and then the other end you see the other type. I got it plugged in right there. But you can plug it in any end, whichever end fits from the power supply. And then I got them connected to each other. Daisy to the other fan that's over there. Anyway, it's hard to see some of this electrical stuff, but I got it connected. Hard drive goes on the bottom. That's the two screws for it. The ones that's the same ones you use for the motherboard, you use right here. The ones that kind of look like you got a built-in washer. They go on the bottom. I like to also point out the card reader one. You plug in a USB. Like if you got two USB headers is where you plug in for the face of your computer case. That's what the headers plug into. So you plug it. If you got two USB headers, then you can plug one of them. Let's see here. One of them got USB. Plug that into one USB, and that's two USBs going into one. Just like this 3.0 one, that's two 3.0s, but it's going in one slot. And these are two USB 2.0s. See how they split together? That's going in one spot. The card reader will go in the other USB spot. Let's see if we can get a good focus anyway. See that? That's two USB spots. So you use one. And two CD drives. So I'm popping out both of these. That's on the front to make way for my two CD drives. They got clips on both sides. So one clip on each side to pop it out. This is how it looked with the 2 clips removed. Well, the 4 clips all together to open up 2 slots for 2 CD drives. Alright, we're getting closer to the end. I need light. I need light. Some kind of light. Okay. Got a little bit of light. I would like more. Something else to tell you, I'm putting in the RAM right now. The DDR3s. The gray slots, like that one that's in now, that's DDR1. And then skip over that black one. That black one is 3. So 1, skip over that, then put in the other gray one. That'll be 2. Slide that one in on this side. So that's the way you're supposed to have it. And then of course you push them in and they lock into place. But these, since they got 4, that black one is 3 in the middle in between there, and then the 4 is on the outside. So you only need these 1 and 2 slots. Then you just push it down a lot. And that's it. That's all you do for that. They just lock into place. You can hear the tabs lock. That's it. So I'm gonna finish putting up the rest of these wires. I already got my 2 drives in there I'm gonna use. They the same screws that was on the motherboard. The ones that kind of got the washer like look to it. Same ones that was used for the hard drive that's on the bottom. 3.5 hard drives on the bottom. You can fit 2 hard drives now here, 3.5s. Alright. And then a CD drive. Now remember, this top slot is for this TF card reader and USB. So you kind of skip over that and then put it in the 2nd and 3rd slots if you're using 2. And that's the maximum drives you can have in there. CD, well, DVD drives at least. So skip the top for the wires and that TF card reader, and then have that. Alright, let me finish this. Another look at the wiring. This one wire that was on the bottom on the faceplate, I separated it from these other wires since it's so it don't be in between the 2 drives there, because it's the power button. Power button is underneath the drives, so make sure you put that orange and white wire on the bottom side underneath the drives. That's what it's looking like so far. When you get done, it should look something like this. All I did was use the zip tie that came with it and kind of clinked it up, put it to the side, all the wires, run them away from the fans for the most part. And that is that. I'm put on the side panels now. Well, some people, they like to test it right now. Go ahead and plug it up. Make sure all the fans working and stuff before they put on the panels. Me, I'm a straight gangster, so I'm putting on the panels, then I'm going to turn it on and then do it. For those of you where this would be your first install, you can put on the other side panel that exposed the motherboard, cover that, and then this side you can turn on and check to see if your 3 fans work, because you know it's fan in front. It's fan in front of it, it's a fan in the back here, and then it's a fan for the CPU. Then of course the fan for the power supply unit. So first thing you want to do is hit the power. Well, you plug in your cable, you know. Then you hit your power back here. Hit this button and flip it. Come around. You got another power button. This is the actual switch. Hit that. And then your stuff should light up. So let's go and hit it. There you go. It's lit. Fan spinning. So after you get it hooked up right, that's what you'll see. So let me hook it to the TV.